Hi there guys, this is Cassandra. I'm a Riffle in Time and I'm so glad you're here. Today we're doing kind of like a holiday picks gift guide vibe. I really was just feeling inspired. I've had some really good questions recently. I think people are kind of just like getting ready for holiday season. They want suggestions, recommendations, and I just was like, you know what? If one person asked this, there might be other people who are like too afraid to reach out. So, and if not, this is kind of like a cool idea for a tag. If you, especially like you could do your own holiday guide, like this is the stuff I want people. That would be fun. So then you could just like slide over the video, be like, hey, have you watched my recent video about holiday gifts? Wink, wink. I just wanted to do something fun, something silly. I will also probably do some sharing of like other small businesses. Like these are all like decks from the shop, I think, pretty much. But that's also what my collection is filled with. But there are also like other things that I don't kind of offer, and I want to do some sharing of like different small businesses I want to support. Maybe I'll do my own like what I want list, but this is all decks. This is all kind of like holiday deck list, deck the halls, tra-la-la-la. Yeah, that's what it is. So I had some specific questions, like again, people asked, so I have some of those, and then I also just brought some other vibes too. One of the most asked questions I get is like my favorite beginners decks. And I think that is a really hard question usually because it really depends on what you want. And I know like the easy answer, which is the vibe, to get like a basic like RWS, Rider-Waite Smith deck. And it's going to work with like 1,000 resources that are online. But I do think it depends on your person, because there are plenty of decks that no, it's not going to like introduce you and teach you tarot, but they have like really good guidebooks and they will teach you about how to do tarot, what other resources to look for. And depending on what you're into, there are some like, unfortunately, there are like a lot of decks that have name changes, so that can be a little difficult going through. So the one I will say is like, if they're a pretty traditional person and they're going to want to use online resources and they're going to need that, you should probably know this about that person, is like they really need it to match just the like a Rider-Waite Smith. This is the universal weight. Most people know what this is, but it's just like a recoloring of like a clone. It's a clone of the Rider-Waite Smith tarot. So there are also decks, like I was saying, that have really cool guidebooks. So the Numinous Tarot is definitely not a traditional deck. There are name changes. It's very like queer friendly though. It's very like representative. It's a really great deck is what it is. And it does have an intro that explains like, here, will you focus? Other resources to use about the, not just about the deck, but how to read tarot. It gives like books they recommend. There is like how to shuffle a deck, the structure of tarot. Like it has information about, let's look. It looks like there are, including spreads, let's see how many pages. 40 pages of this guidebook are dedicated to the kind of beginning parts and like also other resources to look into. But then each page has a good bit. And if this person isn't going to want to read tarot for others, and this is like a self thing, you don't really have to be too crazy about the resources. Because I did not learn to read from a traditional deck, and I figured it out just fine. Deck though that is not per se traditional, but not I guess they still does all the same suits and stuff. This is actually a deck meant for beginners, and that's why I actually picked it up, was because it has this big chunky guidebook, but this is more of an investment deck. This is like the higher price point of my decks, and so I say that like, yeah, it's actually, I didn't even show you the cards from Numinous. What am I doing? Hi, this is my first time on Tarot Tube. Let's go back one. Let me show you some of the beautiful art that is in Cedar did. Like, they're a wonderful artist, and I should probably share their art and not just how cool their guidebook is, though the guidebook is also cool. But again, super representative, very like, also like mystical fun instead of that more traditional kind of, I don't know, there's something about it's like the queens and kings and knights that feels more like, I don't know, it's less whimsy for me, more whimsy there. But this next one, the Lucid Dreams, I was telling you that was a beginner kind of set, has that really cool guidebook, but also show you the cards because that could be fun. They have like the keywords upright or reversed on the cards. And again, super helpful for someone learning. If they just want to kind of have that like really quick reference, this is going to be obviously way less for people who are confident readers, but I also still like to use it because I think it's kind of cool. But those are like just like beginning suggestions. I have a ton of decks though I think that could fit. It's like depends what you want. I think even the Gentle Tarot though is like, again, really different. It's not in the traditional sense at all. With its guidebook, you could read that deck without having to really learn how to read tarot, if that makes sense. So actually the next one I'll skip. The next one I'm going to do are my favorite kind of like decks for journalers or like writers, that kind of vibe, because I love to journal with the Gentle Tarot, but I also think it can be a really cool beginner's option if the person, again, is doing it for more of like a self thing. I don't think that it's like necessary that you have to learn how to like read for others. And if you're just reading for yourself, like the Gentle Tarot, this is the full-size guidebook, but it has everything you want to reflect on the cards. Like it tells you about not just like what the Nine of Cups is. It tells you the upright and reversed meaning, giving you questions to be reflective. And then it also goes over the art symbolism from the card. And I think this is just a really cool guidebook. I don't think I usually go more than one video without mentioning how much I love this guidebook. And there's a little bit of kind of intro how-to there. Not as much. This has like 10 pages kind of vibe versus like, but these are bigger pages too, so. But if they just wanted to learn to read for themselves, I think this is actually a really cool option. And if you love to journal, almost every page has like this kind of reflective questioning vibe. And I think this is a really like fun deck to journal with. I love it myself. So this is one of my favorites to use when I'm journaling. I am actually going to show you some cards though. This is the linen edition. But there is a bundle I have a few left of. That's the full-size guidebook and like the full-size first edition. But this is like the linen. I also have the book separate. I actually want to get more of the book before. Anyways, side note for me when you're, editing this, but this is really colorful, really fun. I think this is like a really good feel-good deck for people, again, whose more purpose for tarot is like reflection, that like intentional kind of mindful healing vibe. So me. This is a deck for me and people like me who like really enjoy that kind of vibe. Now, another deck that I love to journal with, and I have many a times journaled with, I think on this channel, is the Energy Archaeology Oracle. I would not be talking about journaling decks if I did not talk about this. I'll show you the cards first because I'm going to not shut up about the guidebook. So really fun, bonesy, but also like earthy, spacey, all of it. It's all there. Really cool. Like with Oracle decks, there are a lot of decks that kind of follow the same keywords. I think this has some cool options. And again, it's also like paired to a part of your body, which is also cool. But the guidebook, delicious, so good. Questions with every single card. There's 4. Can you see them? No, probably not. But this one is, for so many reasons, so cool. If you have a bone lover in your life, if you have somebody who's really about like parts of their body and like what it stores and holds, that would be like almost a sexy option. It's what I said. Poesis. This deck, this is not as much a journaly deck, but this is, I was thinking of people who really enjoy, like my word people. This whole deck is not only funky cool, because I do think it's funky cool. It comes with, oh no. Oh, it is on here. It comes with the website that holds all of the poems that correspond to each of these cards. So each card has its own poem. And if that's not cool, I don't know what is. And actually they also just recently this year came out with a book. If you want a physical copy of the poems, you can buy that like separately. I don't have that in stock, but I might sometime because I think it's really cool. I want to go get my own copy. So this deck though is also one that I love to like do that kind of reflective feelings in my body, mapping. I don't know how to explain it, but I think I have before. This one, again, just to like my word people. If you like to journal, if you like to write, that's a fun one. Where's my... Okay, someone asked budget-friendly options, like the best kind of bang for your buck. First off, mass markets are always going to be in like a good price range. Let's just get real. I have some really fun mass markets in the shop that are on sale right now. I did not do a better job of compiling those before, but 2 decks that are, I never remember if they're technically mass market or not. They have a publisher, but it's not like it's like a small publisher. So I don't know where that fits. But the Pulp Tarot and the Horror Tarot are really cool decks that have more of the kind of indie vibe of like having like specialty boxes and coming from, again, a smaller printer, but also have more of the like, I think they're $24, which is more of a mass market vibe. So again, don't know where it fits, but this one's really cool. This is the Pulp. It has all of its like images are inspired by like those like pulp art style. Just like movie posters, comics, like stuff like that. It's just, you know the style because you can see what I'm saying. I'm just doing a horrible job explaining it, but it's really cool. I've seen this deck all over another app that I'm not going to mention because they don't like when you mention other ones, but this is a very popular pick, and I know why. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool. I really like these boxes, though. This is not a carry with you box. This is definitely like a shelf box, but I think they're so cool. Now the Horror Tarot, just what you think it would be. It's like horror inspired. I was talking about this deck recently. I think it's so cool. Todd made up like a whole world of different, like made up a movie studio, like a pretend movie studio, like what was it? Was it a magazine or I can't remember, but like different things so he could like kind of introduce like movies that aren't real. He made up movies, and like where this is like the Suit of Wands, card number 8, there where it would be like a movie kind of synopsis or whatever, when you're like seeing a movie poster that says change is coming, something is in the air, action, the time is now, where will you be when the big events happen? And it's just really cool because like all of the cards are like that. The Tower, they were really young, healthy, wealthy, beautiful, free, and in love until tonight. Horror Tarot presents the 16th card in the Major Arcana, the Tower, symbolizing sudden change, upheaval, chaos, revelation, awakening, get out of the building. It's just really cool. Again, I think a really great bang for your buck. And also, I just really love this kind of like book distress vibe. I think it's a special one. Another, really great option when you're thinking of bang for your buck. These are the cheapest decks I think I have in the shop, but these are actually indie decks. They are, oh no, don't mix the cards together. Don't do it. I'm just going to pull one out for right now. These are the mini divvies. I have currently 6 different of the mini divvies in stock on the website. They're kind of like little, they're mini divination decks, so they're kind of like this like affirmation-y kind of divination-y vibe. They're just cool. They all have different themes. This one's ends, like endings to things. So you have depression lifts, out of the fog, divorce, moving on. We have the fair leaves, so not enough of a good thing, so like the actual fair or like festival. We have end of the road, dead end, so that's a resolution. Why? I almost said revelation. Waking up, consciousness. So again, really easy, fun. That could be like even somebody who doesn't do decks. So this could be like a beginner deck, is like their first divination deck of just like the kind of little message. Like a lot of people start off with decks that are just like they pull a card and they get a message, and it doesn't have to be like complicated structure. It's just like face value of the message. But again, I have tons of different of those, and they're like, again, $16. So that's like a cool little gift that's like really unique and also divinatory, if that's a word. Is that a word? I don't know, people. Let me think. I think I had one more budget friendly on the table. Honestly, this little 10 is also super. I have a couple 10 decks. I have the Morgan Greer, and I also have the Halloween. I have a couple of the Halloween tarot left, but it is never not time for the Halloween tarot, and you can fight me on that. It doesn't have to be Halloween. Another kind of theme there's been is like people looking for decks that like the person likes. They're really into something. So I thought I would do this kind of differently. It's like I have a deck for crystal lovers. This is the Radiant Crystal cards. If you have people who love unicorns or like your cutesy people. We have the Rhythm and Soul for our music lovers. Like I have tons of options for people based off of like what they're into as well. So I think that's like a cool idea, is to, when you're picking for somebody, think about what they're into. Nature lovers is probably my biggest one. Actually, it's so funny. One of my most like searched, it's like a Google thing, but it was like how people find me a lot of times is they're looking for nature decks. And I would like to say that I show up, and that makes me happy because I love nature decks. But what I'll do is I'll show you a little. We have decks like any of the Three Trees Tarot deck, really, that get that kind of nature animal-y vibe. Let me show you closer so you can actually see things. But this is like the newest deck, but this is Heartwood. They also have an Oracle deck, which is Thistledown, which is that same kind of, again, naturey animal vibe. I will show you a couple. What am I doing to my poor cards? The world may never know. But these are just perfect little decks. Honestly, any of the Three Trees Tarot decks for someone who loves like animals and nature, because that is what they serve. They serve animal and nature, and they serve it well. Another deck that, when I think of nature decks, this is also kind of, this deck's on here for two reasons. My art lovers, if you're like somebody who you're looking to like buy a gift for somebody who's really into like art, watercolor vibes. This is so nature. This is so watercolor. This is both. And it comes with a cool little guidebook, full color images on the guidebook too. This is a beautiful deck. This is actually, could be on the table for 3 things because this is one of my like current favorites. People ask me all the time, like, what is your current favorite deck? This is one of them. It's just really good. So a little nature, a little art, a little favorite, you know. Let me close the deck. Another deck that is kind of like a favorite right now and naturey. And this one, another really good kind of journal reflector deck. This is everything. This is Phases and Forests. Did I tell you I didn't even tell you the name of the last one. I am such a bad YouTuber. This is Gaia, Lessons from the Earth. This one is Phases and Forest. This is from the same creator as Roots and Wings Oracle. But this is another really good like watercolor naturey. We got some reflection with the like questions at the bottom of each card. These are like good big cards. I think these would be good for a beginner too who's not looking to directly jump into tarot maybe. Like they want to dip their feet in. I think like the idea of just pulling a card a day and getting that feel for it, that could be really, really sexy. Let's look. We were talking about Crystal Lover. Might as well take a look. These are really, really cool. I love crystals, period there. But this also gives you some keywords for it. It gives you some information about the energies, even like different plants to pair it with. It's too cool. But I'll just show you a couple of the examples. This has a ton of cards in it and they feel really good too. Beautiful. I love a good thing. This is a good thing. This is really kind of, the execution of this was very, very on point. And also, I love to pick, like, if the person has, like, crystal bracelets, has tumbles or something, this is really cool. I like to pick my crystals for the day this way. That's like, this is the crystal energy I want. Yes. Okay. We will look at our Rhythm and Soul. This was the Music Lover. Like, I showed this to my dad and he was in love. Has a really cool guidebook that has a song paired with every single card. There is a Spotify playlist for this deck. Come on. This is so cool. Also, like, just really, I was raised in the South, so I really love, I love the vibes here. It's so good. It's I love a unique deck. And I think, so if you have somebody who especially is like already into tarot and they just like really love a good unique deck, that's a good one. You can tell I'm just happy to show you the cards. This one, it's so funny how immediately excited people get about this. It's like, I don't need to like convince people. Like if you love unicorns, if you love that kind of cutesy vibe, there's depth here though too. And that is what I love about this deck. It's not just cutesy. It's like unicorn cutesy with like soul. It is as good as you think it is. Probably better. We love Lisa. This is I'm so bad at this. Here, this is the Unicorn's Journey Tarot. Love, love, love. You would know if you have somebody who's into this kind of thing. I mean, you have to know them. But honestly, I'm really glad I got this deck because I'm not normally like a hyper cutesy, girly, exciting in that way, but this like opened up my sweet little exciting soul. I do love cutesy decks, but it's just not my primary like usually selection. I'll get to that. We'll get to what I usually do. But I have been opening up to more cutesy, exciting things. What else did I have? I mentioned another deck. I don't know. We'll never know. Oh, another deck I was doing for the artsy vibe. If you have like an art lover or somebody who really just loves a beautiful card, like that loves beautiful art. This whole deck is, so this is them, like the person laying on their back in the water, okay? The inside is what you see underneath the water. The cards are all so, I mean, just get in here. Get in there. Look at it. This deck is one of the most beautiful. Ah, I'm so obsessed. This is very different though. This is not like a traditional deck. And so this I would suggest for somebody who has a little more footing, or somebody who is like willing to learn something new. Because they are not, for sure, not traditional. Last is just like my normal favorites. Like people are like, what are your favorites? If you're looking to gift like a Cassandra Riffle in Time like situation, I picked 3. Can we focus? I'm so bad at choosing favorites. I picked 3. 3 decks that I feel like are just like really me. We have Outgrow Yourself, we have Iris, and we have Extraordinary Incantations. These are not my only favorites. You know me, I have so many favorites, but I had to pick 3 that felt like, sorry, someone's calling on my phone. We don't have time for this. The bus is actually about to be outside. This is Outgrow Yourself. I will never shut up about this deck. You already know. This is how I usually pick a deck. Kind of like borderline weird kind of vibe, but also I have a little cutesy, a lot of sass. I like a lot of direct forward communication is what I like directness. And again, some more like people say these are like weird weird art. I love it. It's so fun. But Iris is such a good Oracle deck. I literally talk about these decks all the time. Watch any one of my videos probably, and you'll hear me rant and rave. I don't know. I think I did good. I have to go get my son off the bus, but I love you so much, and I hope this helps. If you have any other like specific categories you want to know, comment below. I'll answer them. I'll give you suggestions. I love you so much.